A secure, lifelong government career vanishes overnight. A happy, stable marriage collapses, shattering into sudden, violent arguments that end in divorce. When our lives break apart this quickly, we usually chalk it up to terrible luck. But for those who study the mystical arts, there is no such thing as a random streak of catastrophic luck. These sudden ruptures are diagnosed as carefully engineered attacks. Enter Hansraj Agori. With decades of experience reading the invisible currents of human lives, he operates as a supernatural diagnostician. He hunts the unseen forces responsible for these sudden blockages. Finding the true cause of a sudden life crisis means looking right past the visible symptoms, the pink slips and the divorce papers, to find the invisible saboteur pulling the strings. Take the case of a client who moved from Punjab to Canada. She had a deeply loving relationship with her husband, but out of nowhere, they found themselves completely separated, living apart with their 2-year-old daughter. The couple experienced a bizarre phenomenon. They wanted to fix their marriage, but whenever they tried to reconcile, they felt an overwhelming repulsion. Like opposite poles of a magnet, the closer they tried to get, the more forcefully they were pushed apart. Agori identified this unnatural repulsion as a bandhan. It is a specific, targeted ritual designed to actively block two people from connecting. When basic logic fails to explain a sudden, violent emotional shift between two people who clearly want to be together, the source of the rupture almost always points to external manipulation. If a bandhan ritual is tearing a life apart, someone had to commission it, and that person is rarely a random enemy or a stranger. In the case of the Canadian wife, Agori traced the supernatural interference directly back to her own sister-in-law. The sabotage was orchestrated entirely out of intense personal jealousy over the couple's relationship. This toxicity applies to professional sabotage too. A medical compounder was suddenly fired after vindictive coworkers orchestrated a campaign to destroy his career. Or consider another frequent scenario. A new marriage abruptly destabilizes because an obsessed ex-partner uses dark rituals to forcefully reclaim their former lover. The most dangerous threats to our stability usually sit right next to us. They come from our own inner circles, driven by toxic, deeply human jealousy. To counter these targeted attacks, Agori employs a specific protocol known as the Sangam Tantra Sadhana. This image captures a traditional square Havan Kund, the foundation of the ritual's strict rule of 7. The protocol demands 7 separate sacrificial fires. But you can't simply build 7 fires in a single room. The geographical requirements are extreme. The ritual must be performed across 7 entirely distinct locations. The practitioner must travel between specific environments to complete the sequence: ocean seashores, deep forests, desolate crossroads, and stark, active crematoriums. And it must all be executed within a strict temporal boundary. The entire process takes exactly 7 uninterrupted hours of continuous work. Severing deeply rooted supernatural sabotage requires an equally rigorous, mathematically precise counter-ritual. This extensive requirement is why Agori sharply rebukes charlatans on the internet who promise miraculous 1-hour fixes for deep-seated spiritual blockages. 20 years of hands-on experience show that true spiritual intervention is a grueling, multi-step process, but the results follow a highly predictable timeline. After completing his 7-hour ritual, that separated Canadian couple was fully reunited in exactly 3 days. And the ousted government compounder? He was fully reinstated to his position, alongside those exact same coworkers, within a single month. Permanent supernatural solutions require significant time and intense physical effort, separating authentic diagnostic practice from fast online scams. Agori's personal boundaries faced their ultimate test when a same-sex couple approached him, seeking help to overcome intense family opposition to their relationship. Based on his strict personal and societal beliefs, Agori initially refused the case. He gave them a harsh reprimand and turned them away. But the situation escalated into a severe crisis. Facing total abandonment by her family, one of the young women returned to Agori, driven to the absolute brink of self-harm. Faced with a client in mortal despair, Agori made an ethical pivot.
Setting aside his strict personal reservations, he agreed to perform the ritual with what he described as a heavy heart. The highest mandate of an authentic spiritual practitioner is the preservation of human life, even when that intervention directly conflicts with their own worldview. The ritual proved successful. The families eventually relented, and the couple is now safely together. Agori's practice focuses on neutralizing the toxicity of human rivalry, calming the turbulence created by jealousy and malice. And these tantric interventions do not have an expiration date. Once the sabotage is cleared, the cure lasts a lifetime. The true purpose of identifying unseen sabotage is to permanently restore the natural harmony, safety, and agency of the victim's life.